grow from it as a result.
We are talking relationships and more with Steve Dennis joining us. Why are you laughing?
Because this one's in a mood tonight, singing. Give us some of that.
No, you don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. I get a giggle out of the Cowboys practicing at AT&T Stadium. I was actually there today. The Rangers were playing outside in the heat, right across, a stone's throw away from the Cowboys practicing at AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys couldn't practice in the heat, but the Rangers could play a full 3 hours outside in the afternoon sun.
I'm not sure I get this either, because they're playing at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City Sunday. It's going to be 90.
Right?
At noon, it's going to be hot. I don't understand, but I do understand the noise.
Yeah.
You know, piping in some crowd noise. And when we were leaving, it was loud, and you were upstairs taping something, right?
And it was so loud. It was like a death metal concert. Or it was like, if any of you watch Homeland and you know in certain scenes where they torture terrorists and they have death metal music just blaring, that's exactly what it was like. It was loud at AT&T Stadium
Is that
today.
why you're in this mood? And by the way, we heard you laugh way up there. That was loud. Gina's laugh, and then the music they were piping into the stadium.
Is that a dig?
No, you have a wonderful laugh. But let me tell you.
His fingers are crossed, by the way.
The entire team was out there practicing today. I don't know when the last time we've seen that.
Practicing in pads, mind you, as well.
Nobody hurt. Well, they're hurt. They're banged up a little, but they're in pads, in practice, all of them. Full metal jacket, I call that. They were all there.
Anthony Spencer, you've got something on Anthony Spencer in our next half
Coming up
hour.
a little later, yeah.
But you got to be enthused, or at least cautiously optimistic, given the intensity you saw on this Wednesday afternoon practice, right?
They do something neat this year, the Monty Kiffin, Rod Marinelli factor with the defense to begin every practice. They just like to yell and scream and get the intensity up. And Coach Garrett is over there with them at the beginning of practice to make sure that's happening. It's kind of neat. And we were standing right next to it today at the stadium. They're running through their little stepping deal and screaming and hollering. I wanted to get in there, and I did. Marcus,
I think you should illustrate
was fired up.
Steve, because I have no idea visually what it is you're describing.
Well, they run through a line.
Show us how you step, Steve.
They lay down a little, what do you call that? I didn't play football. What is it? Huh?
The ladder, thank you, Sam.
A ladder run, there you go. Thank you. And they're just hollering and knocking each other around, and it's basic football stuff you see on high school fields, but you see it at the Cowboys to start practice.
Okay, Dwayne Harris, we saw what he was able to do on special teams, earned NFC Special Teams Player of the Week honors this week, but could he be taking plays and or reps from receiver Terrence Williams? We heard Jason Garrett discussing the relationship between Tony Romo and Terrence Williams. Could Dwayne Harris be moving up a little bit?
Well, I think he's making it known that he wants to.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking to him today. He's the Special Teams Player of the Week, as you mentioned, for his tackles, not for returns, which surprises him. He goes, I'm not even a very good tackler. But he made 3 big plays on special teams. Yeah, I'm a little surprised, to be honest, that they started the year this way anyway, because Dwayne Harris was pretty effective at the end of the season last year as the 3rd receiver, and Terrence Williams has a lot to learn.
Well, he's a rookie, too.
Yeah, it's a tough position for a rookie. Yeah, he's got so much stuff going on in his head, where to be, what routes, all that. He's struggling. It's going to take him a while. But, his talent will slowly start to show. But it wouldn't surprise me if Dwayne Harris gets a few more reps in that receiver role.
And I think the expectation level, given what Terrence Williams did in college, was so high. I think the expectation level was pretty high for him, too. Thank you, Steve. Des Bryant with the right attitude. The man with the attitude would be Steve Dennis.
And then he also said, trust me, my time will come.
I love his confidence.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. And it will. You believe this, right?
Well, he's going to get a lot of double coverage. Yeah. He's got to do a little better against it than he did Sunday night.
Do you think he has that in him?
Oh, yeah. He can beat the double coverage. But, Jason Witten said today, this is basic Giants cover 2 defense. Dez has seen it before. So it's not that big of a deal. He's got to, beat it. And he does.
And there's a question about his health. He suffered a mildly sprained left foot. We had a spy at practice today, Steve Dennis.
Did you? Get Smart?
Yeah.
Type spy? Oh, that's way long ago. You have no idea what that is.
Vaguely. He used a telephone in the bottom of his shoe.
There you go.
To text in to us and tell us
by this much.
This much, that Des Bryant looked good and that there was no limp in his giddy up.
I know who you're talking about, and I did talk to him at practice, and I agree with him. Romo looks fine. Dez looks fine. Lance Dunbar looks fine.
Everybody looks fine.
Anthony Spencer wasn't there today.
Rehabbing
Yeah,
today.
A little rest day. They had this planned. And he said in the locker room afterward, walking by, that no swelling. He's good. So his knee reacted well to his first day in pads in 7 weeks.
Yeah, he hasn't participated in back-to-back practices since the first week of training camp.
Which surprises me a little that today was a rehab day. I mean, you would think you'd want to get him to practice a couple days in a row. But I think he's going to play Sunday very limited. I think he'll have 12 plays maybe.
There is a question of effectiveness, too, when he gets into the ball game as well. We saw that shot of Tony Romo. He looked like he was scratching a spot on his ribcage. This is when it's good to be watching television, something we can only give you here on TV. Our photographer, Brett Kelly, got this shot of Tony Romo. See, he's scratching his ribcage, but it's not an itch, Steve. We had this discussion. We had a discussion here.
Could have been a skeeter.
He was touching that all afternoon, the right side of his ribcage during practice. I think he'll be fine.
He's a little sore. He said he's got to get through the soreness, but he'll be ready to go Sunday.
Okay, switching gears to the Texas Rangers. And we begin our Rangers coverage discussing the A's. They closed their series with the Twins this afternoon. It was all Oakland in this one, highlighted by Yoenis Cespedes' 2 RBI triple in the third. The A's beat the Twins 8-2. And so now let's check out those AL West standings. The Rangers are now 3.5 games behind Oakland in the AL West. Rangers lost a game, didn't even play a game today on this off day. This thing's coming to a crash course in Arlington tomorrow as the Rangers open up a 3-game series against the Oakland A's. It's a game that you can see right here on TXA 21. Derek Holland takes the mound for the Rangers with 17 games left to play, Steve Dennis. This is the panic button. These are Rangers. Their hand is hovering right over it.
3.5? All of a sudden with 17 to go? Whoo.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Now, I'm going to play a little game with you here, a little impromptu game. Make the case that Rangers fans should panic that their team will not make the playoffs.
That's easy. That's easy because it feels like a Cowboys December. I mean, you know, we all feel it. It happened last year, and it just feels like it's all closing down on everybody, and it's going to happen again. That's what happened to the Dallas Cowboys. They kept getting this funk in December, and they are still in it to some degree and can't get out of it. So, yeah, that's the case. I mean, just what everybody feels. It's real.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to make the case that the Rangers have some tough pitching they're going to face this weekend. Dan Straley tomorrow, Bartolo Colon on Saturday, Jared Parker on Sunday. Texas plays a stretch of winning teams. Oakland, Tampa Bay, who's in a playoff hunt, battling Texas for the wild card, and Kansas City, who's above 500. They close out the season against Houston and LA. It's a tough schedule for the Rangers the rest of the way, but it's not all negative, because I want you to make the case, Steve, that Rangers fans should not panic. Why should they have faith that this team is going to be just fine?
Well, because they still have good pitching, good starting pitching, and good bullpen. You, Holland, Garza, Perez, and then that bullpen. All the teams that are in the hunt right now, whether, you know, go to the National League, the Cardinals, the Pirates, the Reds, they've got pitching. If you've got pitching, there's hope.
And we've seen some of the Rangers pitching, though, struggle.
It's got to get a little better.
Yeah, it's got to turn.
When the pitcher is doing his job, score some runs.
Got to get more than 2 runs a contest behind those pitchers. My case is the Wash pep talk. I believe in the power of the Ron Washington pep talk. He's done it twice this year when the Rangers have gone on losing stretches, and they have been quite effective previously.
Can you go to that well 3 times?
We're going to find out, because I think a Wash pep talk is right around the corner.